Welcome to Fred Achando Analysis, ladies and gentlemen, and thanks for your continued support. Former President of Kenya, Uhuru Kenyatta, was involved in active politics before the last presidential elections. He campaigned for his handshake partner, Raila Odinga, and went against the agreement with William Samoei Ruto, where he said that he would do a two-term limit that consists of 10 years, then hand over the baton to William Ruto. In fact, when the IEBC announced William Ruto as the winner, the president was very quiet. And when the case went to the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court declared that William Ruto was the winner, President Uhuru Kenyatta refused to congratulate William Ruto. There are divided opinions about this. There are those who believe that the president did not want to see William Ruto anywhere close to State House. Yet there is another school of thought that feels that the president managed Raila Odinga just to allow him to work smoothly for the last 5-year term. Now, the president, or former president Uhuru Kenyatta, has never been seen taking an active role in Azimio politics. In fact, the last time he was seen anywhere close to Azimio affairs was in Kajiado on 7th of September when he attended an Azimio party's meeting, and he represented Jubilee, and he was there as the chairman of the Azimio Council. Since then, the chairman has never been seen. He's been conspicuously missing in any rallies, any affairs as far as Azimio coalition is concerned. Now, what are the reasons why the president is quiet and the reasons why he is about to quit completely the affairs of Azimio? That is what I want us to look at. And before we delve so much into it, if you are watching us for the first time, allow me with profound humility to request you to subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell, and kindly give our videos many likes. There is a law that is anchored in our constitution. It is called the Presidential Retirement Benefit Act 003. And it states very categorically that any president, after quitting office, should not be actively involved in politics, neither should he or she hold any political office 6 months after quitting that office. Now, the former President Uhuru Kenyatta has got until February 23rd to fulfill that constitutional mandate. If he does not, then he's going to seize all the benefits that a Kenyan retired president must have. Now, with this in mind, I believe this is one of the reasons why the president has decided to take a low profile, because the constitution requires him to do that. If he continues playing active politics in Azimio, then the dictates of the constitution demand that the president will not enjoy his benefits. And I believe the president wants his benefits, and so he is playing a very passive role, only sending people like Jeremiah Kioni, who is the Secretary General of the Jubilee Party, to represent his interest. Number two, the president has been given a role that now elevates him beyond local politics. He's now playing politics as a Pan-Africanist. He has been given a peacekeeping mission and is doing it. Last time he had a meeting here in Kenya. And so it behoves one to imagine that the president cannot get involved in Azimio politics and at the same time going to Congo and Burundi to bring peace. For example, if the Azimio party is calling for demonstrations and street politics, it will be very preposterous for the president to get involved in the streets, yet at the same time he's trying to call for peace and truce in Congo. Number two, he will not have enough time to concentrate in peacekeeping, because in peacekeeping missions, he needs full time. He needs to, meet rebels, meet the representatives of the government side. Sometimes it really involves a lot of persuasion, and he also needs to be very careful because the mandate that he has been given is very delicate and very precarious. So he needs to get full time to be involved. Many a times we'll find him in Congo, so he will not have time to divide himself to be in Azimio affairs and at the same time in Azimio, in peacekeeping missions. The third thing here is that the president is trying to build his legacy. Now that he has retired from, national politics, as the president, he needs to build his legacy so that one day he will be remembered for what he has done. And this is the reason why the president will not be seen near Azimio affairs again. The other day, you realize that the chairman of the secretary of the Jubilee party said that they were quitting their involvement with Azimio, and he stated that they have paid Raila what Raila wanted. They said that given Raila about 900,000 votes that Raila has never gotten before, ever since he started politics from Central, and they said that they were quitting politics. And very many people read Uhuru's hidden hand in this. Then later, when Raila was preparing to go to Kamkunji, it was a shock for many, or a surprise, when the Secretary General came back and said that they were ready to join Raila in Kamkunji. And yes, he made good his promise, and he was there. Later he went to Inoro FM, where he confirmed those reports and said that they are fully involved in Azimio. And very many people also think that yes, Jeremiah Kioni cannot do that which the former president does not want, and so they feel that maybe Uhuru Kenyatta is pulling the strings from behind the curtains. The question that I want to ask is, do you think that if Uhuru Kenyatta quits as the chairman of the Azimio Council, is it going to affect Azimio in any way? Is there anything that his direct involvement will bring to Azimio? Personally, if you ask me, I think it is time for President Uhuru Kenyatta, because once a president, always a president. It is time for him to quit, to concentrate on the other roles that he has been given. But I understand that they will still remit, their monthly funds to Azimio, and he will also be giving his opinions through the Secretary General. So he will be there, but you will not see him directly involved. And I think the president also wants to play a role as kama mzee niseme hivyo, where like the other day there was a problem between William Samoei Ruto and Raila Amolo Odinga, and it is believed that William Ruto reached out to the former president so that he could talk to his handshake partner, and it is believed that he requested Raila Amolo Odinga to postpone his rally. Remember, the first rally that was to take place was postponed, and it is said that William Ruto and Raila Odinga had agreed that William Ruto was not going to punish Cherera and her team. Then when they realized that Uhuru had appointed a tribunal to look into the conduct of the 4 dissenting commissioners, Raila was vexed and he was really disappointed, because apparently Ruto did not obey his part of the bargain. And that is why he went ahead with this consultative meeting in Kamkunji. So for the president to play a neutral line, he needs to get out of Azimio, so that whenever there is a problem between Raila Amolo Odinga and William Ruto, he will be sitting there like a patron, not as the chairman of Azimio. In the last campaigns, before people went for the general elections, William Ruto, in many occasions in his campaigns, complained that the president was sabotaging elections, and he told him to get off his way so that he could face Raila Amolo Odinga on his road, because he felt that the president was still handling the instruments of power and he was the chairman of Azimio. So he felt that the president was making the level field being imbalanced, and William Ruto was very much uncomfortable with the idea of President Uhuru Kenyatta being the chairman in Azimio and at the same time trying to involve himself in this politics. So for the supporters of Azimio, President Kenyatta will not be in Azimio anymore. If you are looking for him please look for Jeremiah Kioni, because the constitution and the circumstances and the nature of his job does not allow him to be in Azimio. Last but not least, I feel that Raila Amolo Odinga should be given this mandate to now go on leading Azimio, because in the last regime, when Raila Amolo Odinga had his handshake with Uhuru Kenyatta, he carried all the baggage of the Jubilee. Every government has a baggage, ladies and gentlemen. Every government has got its shortfalls. And when you come in the way Raila Amolo Odinga came in, Rigathi Gachagua and William Ruto piled everything on him. They said he is the one who sabotaged the economy, and when they were campaigning, they told the hustlers that Raila Amolo Odinga is the one who made life to be very difficult, who ensured that the basic prices of commodities went high, and they said that William Ruto had been removed from his position as the deputy president, and Raila Amolo Odinga took that position. Now, Raila Amolo Odinga could not even criticize the government there because they were in a handshake. Now, he should be given his role fully now to steer Azimio, because Raila Amolo Odinga, if you've studied his kind of politics, Raila likes this kind of hard politics where he charges his crowd to go to the streets, because freedom of picketing and gathering and association is entrenched in our constitution. And Raila has learned through the years, because he's got a wealth of experience in politics. He has learned that the only language that stubborn governments and administrations understand is when people go to the streets, because then the governments will realize that, wow, now we are losing revenue. And then they will sit down and maybe accept part of the bargain. The last one, ladies and gentlemen, is that Uhuru Kenyatta is a prince, whether you like it or not. Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta was introduced into politics by the late president Moi. And if you remember, when Moi, held his hands and proposed to him to be the KANU chairman and to take part in to contest for presidency, he was very raw then. In fact, I would say very naive. He was inexperienced. But courtesy of that proposal, later in 20, that was because he stayed out of politics up to 2013. He was now a bit mature, having served as a minister for finance and then the deputy prime minister. So at least he had engaged in much politics, meeting leaders, and I know now he had taken his time to read some political books, and he's also a student of political science, I believe. But he's a prince. He's not someone who is involved in active politics. So Raila Amolo Odinga is serving as an opposition leader, and as an opposition leader, you need to sometimes go to the streets, sometimes to criticize the government. As a former president, Uhuru Kenyatta has got some limits. He's not allowed to criticize so much the government, because part of the blame, William Ruto says, that they have inherited a dilapidated economy from Uhuru Kenyatta. And then Uhuru, you remember, it has been confirmed twice that when Maraga nullified their election, he wanted to quit. And even when they had been indicted by The Hague, he wanted to give up, and he had promised Musalia Mudavadi to take over. So, former President Uhuru Kenyatta will not really fit well in the kind of politics that Raila wants to play now. And I support that he should now quit, play a more active role in his international duties, build his legacy, and to get his retirement benefits, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what you think, but I really support the president should now quit. And that is my take.